Are you recording again?
Yes.
Okay, because I know we turned it off. I just wanted to make sure.
I gotcha.
All right. Today is February the 5th, 2022, and we are here for the first Age of Sigmar tournament at Fantasy Games in forever, I think. I think this is the first real tournament we've ever done. I'm not running it, but I'm here as the ringer. But we had an even number of people, so I won't be playing today. So hey, let's grab some footage and look around.
Hey again, tournament fans, it's Josh and CJ back with another round of the tournament scene here at Fantasy Games. Now, like Josh said in the intro, it's been a minute since our last actual tournament, but here's some of the highlights from the day's festivities.
So our local AOS crowd is very dedicated and much larger than it used to be very quickly. And it kind of showed up in our turnout. We had a turnout of 12 people, with only one person having to drop at the end. We had a full 4 of those. 4 of them were Auric Warclans specifically. Not just Destruction. 4 Auric Warclans players.
Yep.
Now, not all of them were the same ones.
Right.
2 Iron Jaws, 1 Bone Splitters, and 1 Cruel Boys.
Yep.
So a little diversity within that book, and it is a multi-part book.
Right.
But still, 4 out of 12, 1/3.
And only one, count 'em, one Stormcast.
Yeah.
But CJ, Stormcast dragons are overpowered.
So 4 total non-fungoid tokens that we had.
I hate you.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, I'm going to try to forget you made that joke. But yes, our local meta has a rather distinct love of greenskins. Now, admittedly, I'm part of the problem, too.
You sure are.
Yep, because I have Cruel Boys and Iron Jaws, and I'm thinking about getting some Bone Splitters.
Why would you think about that?
Oh, because it's fun. Because they're so easy to paint, Josh.
Now, that's true.
But anyway, who's counting, right?
Krondus.
Oh, most likely.
I assume. He does like counting things, maybe? The dragon. I don't know. Dragons like counting? They like counting gold.
Yeah.
If we're going by Hobbit lore, which I don't know if AOS does. Here's a Krondus right here. So, there were a few differences between this and the last tournament. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut to some actual footage, and we're also going to cut to an interview with a guy who was at both. We interviewed him last time, and we interviewed him again, because this time he's running it.
Yeah. But hey, we're going to throw it to footage of our good buddy Kevin, all-around stand-up guy and organizer for this. And here we go.
This is your tournament.
It is.
We interviewed for the 40K one, but in a very different capacity.
Yes.
So you're leading this little shenanigan, this shindig.
Yeah. This is definitely my little baby. We're raising up from nothing here.
So I guess this is kind of a basic question, but why?
Why am I running this?
Yeah. What made you want to? Because we have not had an Age of Sigmar tournament here at Fantasy Games for literally ever?
Yeah, properly ever. We had a few smaller, in the pre-COVID years, we tried doing a few events and it didn't quite pan out. The community wasn't quite as big as it is now. But I love Age of Sigmar. I have a lot of love for the universe and for the game itself. And it's something I really want to play Age of Sigmar. So part of that is I need people to play with. It's definitely a multiplayer game. So part of that is building up a community of people that are like-minded that also want to play the game. And one thing that brings people together to play is tournaments. So, and I love tournaments. I love going to them, I love playing in them, and I love running them. So.
Yeah, so you played in the 40K tournament. Did anything that you saw or experienced there influence decisions you made about this tournament? In any way, good or bad?
Well, definitely as far as physically the setup of the tables and everything was definitely it was a good thing to riff off of for how the space is physically laid out, because the Fantasy Games has a good back room, but it's still there's an economy of space to play with.
Right.
To make sure that everyone is here. We had a few drops that afforded us a little bit more space than we would have had if had those 4 people shown up. So it took us from 16 to 12, which is still a really good number. But yeah, I think that was a big thing, lining up the tables in the middle so that there was you could put more than what would normally be afforded by those tables. But yeah, there was definitely just the way CJ kind of handled things on a more casual thing. This is just like CJ's event. This is a free event. There's not really any prizes. There's certificates for people who placed and who won awards, but there's not really any significant prizes worth fighting over. So it's definitely a really chill atmosphere, and so I'm hoping that carries over into when we start running more competitive events in the future.
16 players total. We only have 12 today.
Correct.
4 drops or no shows. 3 rounds. 3 hours each. 2,000 points.
Yes, 2,000 points.
And using just the standard Age of Sigmar GHB battle packs?
Yep, from the General's Handbook. Yep.
Any altercations or anything rules-wise, really?
Nothing. I'm running it straight out of the battle pack. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you pick what battle plans to use? Did you just?
I just rolled for them. Like,
so all
yeah.
of them are options. You didn't disqualify any or anything?
I didn't disqualify any. I know that there are some that people don't like and that there are some that people do, but I think that having those in the potential pool is important because it gives something people to consider when they're building their lists. Like some people don't like the one that's being played here in round 2 is Apex Predators, where only leaders can control the objectives.
That's a tough.
So that's something that some people don't like.
Yeah.
Well, it does influence. Knowing that could be out there means that people have to maybe plan to I have to have a hero that can go out there and get an objective, rather than knowing that hey, no one's gonna play with Apex Predators, so I don't have to worry about dealing with Apex Predators.
So you're trying to enforce diversity of list building by just using all the battle plans.
And I think that's kind of GW's goal with how they designed this battle pack. There are missions that do favor a specific type of build more than others. Mm-hmm. So I feel like having all those in the potential pool broadens the lists that would be present.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm noticing a favoring of what we might call elite armies.
Yes.
Basically, everybody has a monster or more.
Yeah, well, monsters afford a lot more opportunity for scoring. In the present battle pack, there's a lot more points that you put on the board for having monsters in your force. And so if you have access to a monster, it's usually a good idea to bring one.
Yeah. So something I think we commented on, or you commented on when we first started, everybody who came to this tournament is already kind of a regular here.
Yeah.
Which is kind of exciting to me.
It really is. It's really cool to see that all the regulars are coming out to play in an event, but seeing all the locals come out and supporting this tournament, it's really, really encouraging.
So speaking of that, when you do the next one and it is a prize support, do you expect that to be the same thing? It's going to be pretty much all locals?
I expect it to be almost exclusive. I would say 85% locals. There are people that were interested from out of town that were going to come today, and they're the ones that couldn't make it today.
Mostly because of the weather.
Yeah.
If for those of you who don't know, we're in northern Indiana, and it is a frozen hex game.
Right.
Now, the Everwinter is here, and the roads are bad.
Right.
So I don't begrudge anybody not coming. Okay. So have you? I know we're not even halfway through round 2 right now. You had something that you have done that CJ did not have in the 40K tournament is a painting competition as well.
Right.
How's that working? Who's judging that?
So I asked the staff to judge, the fantasy game staff to judge 2 people that I trust that know what looks good and what doesn't look good and have an eye for painting technique and stuff like that to judge it. Mostly because, my wife is in the tournament, so even though I think everyone here trusts me to judge everything fairly, it makes me feel better if I'm not involved in judging the paint. So
your wife is in the tournament and a good painter,
right?
Which is
so. So I feel like if I leave myself out of the equation, I feel better about whatever results happen to come from the paint judging.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Terrain. Most of the terrain here is yours, right?
A good, I would say about 60% of the terrain.
Yeah.
I decided we normally on Tuesdays we play with what the store has because lugging my terrain from home to here every Tuesday was kind of a pain.
Pain in the butt.
But for a tournament, with all that tournament, I'll church it up a little bit. I'll bring out some of my terrain. So
well, hopefully next time I'll be able to contribute some.
No, that would be more than welcome. Yeah.
Got it. Good Lord, I just need to build it and paint it. Okay, maybe I won't be able to. Anyway, so when's the next one?
So CJ is taking next month to do, which is March, to do his event, and so I think April sometime we're going to do our next one.
So that'll be a paid one, still 2,000 points.
We're going to do paid 2,000 points. I don't think anything less than 2,000 points is particularly viable in Age of Sigmar. I feel like the power level
in this edition of Gods and Monsters.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the power level of things skew a little bit too much once you start dipping below 2,000 points.
So here's a question. You've probably seen the news from LVO and elsewhere that we're staring down the barrel of 4 tomes. Pretty rapid fire. How would you handle if one of those happens to drop the week before or the weekend before your tournament?
So for a paid tournament that has prize support, we're going to have a rules cutoff, and so usually that's a week before. So if it comes out if it comes out the Saturday before the tournament, that's okay. If it comes out the Saturday of the tournament, no go. So I mean, I want people to play with their toys.
Right. Yeah.
And
especially given what those tomes are.
Right.
Fire Slayers, Night Hunt, and for some reason.
yeah. Daughters of Cain is specifically kind of a mystery, but But I really think that it's people want to play with their toys, so I don't want to make it too restrictive. And this isn't LVO, this isn't Adepticon, this isn't Las Vegas. This is a 16-person local tournament, so I don't want to be too restrictive. But I think a week. Well, I guess it would be a little less than a week of okay, if it comes out the day of, it's probably
the day of the person who has it isn't going to know what they're doing, right?
Well, probably. I mean, usually you can get a hold of the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
The leaks happen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So that would be how I would handle that.
And so also one last question. You mentioned obviously you like playing in tournaments.
Yes.
And do you have any plans to try and play in one of these yourself? I know it's kind of
well, if anyone decides to run one, I will play in it. But that's just part of it comes with the territory of wanting to build a community. Is that I get put in the position of being the one to facilitate it, and that's fine. I love doing it. But if anyone else wants to decide to run an event, I'm not going to stand in their way.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
It's kind of sucks that you don't get to play in the tournament.
Yeah,
So, Age of Sigmar players, thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate you guys coming to support the event and it being as late as it is. Just sticking around to the end of it. Thank you for playing all and having a great time. It seems like everyone had a good time. Everyone have a good time?
Yeah!
I won't keep you guys much longer, so we're going to start with the awards. So we're going to start with our second in command, which is the second best game results, which that goes to Dustin.
Hey!
There you go, sir.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Good job. And next up, we have Best General, which is the award for the best game record, and that goes to Duncan.
Too many D's.
And then one of my favorite awards to give out is for Best Appearance, and I think it might not be much of a surprise that it goes to Andy.
Hey! Let me take it.
And last, and certainly not least because it is the last and most, is Best Overall, which is a combination of best appearance and best overall, and not best necessarily game results, but a combination of equally weighted hobby and game results. So really an exemplar of the hobby and shows what definitely is what we should aspire to be. So, and this goes to Michael.
Hey! As you do.
So once again, thank everyone. Thank all of you guys for coming out and supporting this. This has been really invigorating for me to do more of these in the future. Our next event is probably going to be. Let me turn my alarm on.
We see April something.
Our next event is going to be in April. Sometime the date hasn't been set. But anyway, the next Age of Sigmar event is also going to be a paid, price-supported tournament with training requirements, be battle ready and that type of thing. So you have a couple months to get ready for that. So I want everyone, this was definitely a primer for everyone to kind of get jazzed up and excited about the tournaments that we're going to start having here. So once again, thank you. And I hope everyone had a good time, and please come back Tuesdays as always, and then for our next event.
Hell yeah.
And just like that, packed up and done. Big thanks to all of our players, and we will see you for the next tournament. That's going to be in March, and I'm going to be running that one.
Have fun.
Yeah, it's going to be paid, so pray for me.
Have fun.